Are you postpartum, whether you're 6 weeks or 6 years out, and struggling to try to figure out how to get back to exercise? Definitely keep watching for today's gentle postpartum ab workout. All right, we're gonna hop back to our mats and definitely watch until the end of the video today. It's my absolute favorite postpartum ab move because it's full body, but also abs. It's awesome, so stay till the end. All right, we're gonna start with 360 breathing, so get your hands in that C shape. If you've been on my channel for any length of time, I have a bunch of videos about this. I will link them below so you can also get more of this if you need it. So big deep breath in, your ribs expand into your hands in all directions, forward, sides, and back. And you exhale audibly as if you're blowing out hundreds of birthday candles. On that exhale, your ribs knit back together, your hands are coming back together, and your abs tighten across your hips, almost like as if you're wearing a corset and it's being cinched up, or as if you're being wrapped up in tape. So we're gonna do that again. Big inhale in, ribs expand, and you can add in the pelvic floor should be relaxed with this inhale. And then on the exhale, audible exhalation, ribs contract back down, pelvic floor is up and in, and abs tighten across your hips like a corset. And the pelvic floor contracting, and you guys can keep breathing and practicing. I'm just gonna talk through this. So the pelvic floor coming up and in, if you've never done that before, if you think about like a tissue on the floor, like in a rectangle, and your pelvic floor grabs that tissue, brings all 4 points together up and inside your body. So we're gonna practice this again. Big inhale in, pelvic floor relaxes and ribs expand, and then exhale, pelvic floor is up and in, abs tight across your belly, ribs knit together. So keep practicing that on your own. You may be thinking, one, why are we spending so much time breathing? The reason for that is this is the most foundational and fundamental movement you can do postpartum, actually pregnant also, but definitely postpartum in terms of rebuilding your core and pelvic floor and getting back to more intense exercise. This breathing is necessary everywhere. And so learning how to do it properly and pairing the breathing with other movements is critical. Point two that I wanted to make while you keep practicing with the breathing. Point two is the first time that I heard about this and tried to practice doing it, I felt like I couldn't get it. I felt like I wasn't doing the right thing. That's okay. It's all about repetitions. The more you practice it, the more you'll start to feel your body reconnecting itself. As odd as that sounds, if you pay attention to things as you do this every day over and over, you'll start to see things improve. Okay, so now we're gonna go into a bridge. So bring your heels close to your bum, your knees are bent, feet are planted on the floor. You can touch your heels with your fingers. You can have your hands by your sides, you can have them on your lower belly, you can have them around your ribs, whatever is feeling good and comfortable for you today. You're gonna take that big inhale in, ribs expand, pelvic floor relaxes, and then on the exhale, you're gonna start to bring your pelvic floor up and in, and you're gonna just tip your pelvis towards the wall behind you and keep tipping until you feel your bum and your low back lift off the floor as high as is comfortable for you today. And while you're in the lifted part, your pelvic floor is up and in, your ribs are contracting, and your abs are tight across your hips, almost as if you have like magnets on your hips. Imagine, and it's bringing everything together. So then on the inhale, everything lowers very slowly, opposite of what we did. And we're gonna flow through 3 of these. So then another exhale, roll that pelvis up. Good. Exhale, pelvic floor is up and in. Inhale down. We'll do 2 more. Start your exhale, tilt that pelvis. And this is very slow, intentional, and controlled. And the idea is these moves that I'm showing in part 1, which I'll link below, this is part 2. I don't know if I mentioned that, but if you haven't done part 1, definitely check that out. Practicing those movements over and over and feeling really strong and good with those can lay a great foundation for this workout. But so the idea is These movements are slow and intentional to rebuild and reconnect, to build a base for you to then progress your exercise. We're going to go on to the next move. This one is going to be a leg circle. So the most modified version is to keep we're going to start on the right. So keep your left leg in this position, and then you take your right leg up into the ceiling, and you just do a very gentle leg circle. And you can keep doing your deep breathing through this. And right now I'm going clockwise. And the idea here is you want pelvic stability. So you don't want to feel your hips rocking or rolling. You don't want to have pain in your low back or anywhere, and your low back should be gently pressed into the mat. If you are feeling really strong and stable here, maybe you've been working on things. If not, that's perfect. That's where you are today. You stay here. If you want to intensify it, you can make that leg go, the leg that's not working, extend out and do the circles that way. Okay, switch directions. So you find what's good for you. And these workouts, part one and this one today, and then I'll probably have, I'm not sure how many more, but we'll see. If you want more, definitely comment, like, let me know. But the idea is everything builds on each other, but this isn't meant to be done once. These moves are moves that you do over and over and over again to rebuild. And you'll notice, like, if you do the same workout, the same moves for a week, okay, we're gonna switch sides. And again, same idea, modified would be have that knee bent. If you wanna do a more challenging one, you have your leg extended and we're gonna lift the opposite leg. And again, it's all about that pelvic stability. You don't wanna have rocking. And your circles should be as small as they need to be to maintain that pelvic stability. If you feel like your hips are rock solid, nothing is really moving, you can make that circle, here's an example, even wider. And it may change day to day. Like today, you may be able to have a really wide circle, and maybe tomorrow things just don't feel quite like that, and that's okay. Wherever you are today is amazing, and just own that. And then switch directions. And so, like I was saying, you can do the workout all together. You can also scatter the moves throughout the day, depending on how old your baby is or what you have going on that day. It's okay to break it up. And these moves are so gentle and slow and intentional. It's okay to do them every single day. The main thing is you always want to talk with your personal physician, your healthcare team about what works right for you. This is intended to be education only, and I'm sharing my knowledge and my personal experience, but you have to talk to your personal physician for specific advice for you. Awesome. Okay, so those are the leg circles. And then we're gonna go into my favorite move. Now, to get into this position, you saw me roll onto my side. I'm planting my hand on the floor and pressing up. So that's very important when you are postpartum and pregnant. When you're going from a laying to sitting position, you definitely want to do that as opposed to crunch up. Crunching up from a laying, like laying on your back and then crunching up, can increase the risk for abdominal separation, or medically what's called a diastasis recti. Or if you have one, it can make it worse. So you want to be really careful with that as you're healing postpartum. So my favorite move is called a bird dog. So we're going to get into a tabletop position. This is a, some people will call it a 90 quadricep position. Sorry, not 90, quadricep position, or a tabletop. So you look like a table. So my shoulders, elbows, and wrists are stacked. My hips and knees are stacked. Again, we're gonna start most modified, and you'll see these moves can be done, you know, however long you wanna do them. A minute each is amazing. If you wanna do less than that, that's great. If you feel ready to do more than that, that's great. It just takes me time to explain it, and I wanna make sure I go through the modifications so you know where to, you know, what feels good for you as you practice. Okay, so you're gonna take a big inhale in. On the exhale, you're gonna just hover your right hand off the mat just a few inches And again, with that exhale, it's audible. Your abs are tight across your belly like a corset. Your ribs are knit together and your pelvic floor is up and in. Inhale your hand back down. Exhale your left knee off the mat just a few inches. Again, with that exhale, pelvic floor is up and in, and you're pairing all of this together with the breathing. Inhale down. Okay, if that felt good, we're gonna go to doing both. So inhale, exhale, right hand, left knee. So you can see now we're adding in an element of balance. And when we move to the full move, you'll see why this is a full body movement, but you can already see with having to lift your hand and your leg. And then inhale back down. Okay, so now we're gonna switch sides. Big inhale, ribs expand, pelvic floor relaxes. Exhale, left hand hovers a couple inches off the mat. Inhale it back down. And then exhale, right knee off the mat. And if this is too fast for you, if this is feeling like it's too much for you, you can bring that knee back down on the inhale. And now exhale, we're gonna do both together. If this is too much for you, you can go back to 360 breathing. You can go back to any of the moves we've already done. You can go back to part 1. It's all okay. Whatever is working for you today is amazing. And I'll make sure again that I link part 1 below. Okay, now for the full move, you're gonna do a big inhale and then exhale audibly, hundreds of birthday candles, and I have my right arm and left leg fully extended. And we're gonna hold here just to practice the balance. Again, if this is too much, go back to the hover. If that's too much, go back to a 360 breathing. It all counts. That breathing is fundamental and foundational and important to healing. Okay, and then we're gonna inhale back down. Do a breath here, exhale, and then inhale. Ribs expand, pelvic floor relaxes. Exhale, like hundreds of birthday candles. Pelvic floor is up and in. Really thinking about those ribs knitting together. Hips are magnetized, abs are tight across. Inhale back down. Okay, exhale. We're gonna alternate sides here. And you go at your own pace that works for your breathing. Like I said, this is slow and intentional. And awesome. Switching sides. Again, you're extending with the exhale. So the exhale is always on the more challenging exertional part of the movement. Inhale, exhale. So we'll do a few more. And in part 3, I will definitely show some other modifications you can do with this to add in, make it a little variety and maybe even more challenging. Awesome. We're gonna do 1 more on each side or 2 more wherever you are with your breathing. And part of why I make these videos is because when I was postpartum with my first, I felt like all I could find online were videos of women that didn't look like me doing these, you know, really aggressive, maybe workouts that I just didn't feel like were doable for me. So I have lots of videos that are simple, effective, doable. You know, you can be in your pajamas. And I'm always proud of you for showing up and doing what works for you today. So definitely, like I said, subscribe below if you are that mom that's looking for what I'm talking about, judgment-free, doable, simple, effective workouts. Amazing. I'm so proud of you for being here, for taking the time to try this. Even if you only have a minute a day, pick one of these and do it for a minute. Pick 2 and do it for 30 seconds. That is all amazing and it all counts. Because what if in, you know, a couple of minutes a day, you could start to heal your body, reconnect with your body, feel better, both mentally and physically, and have more strength and energy for the things that you want to do, whatever they are, having that confidence back about how strong you are, because that is what it's all about. Thank you so much for being here. definitely watch for part 3, and I will link those videos below that you can catch right now that I mentioned earlier. All right, good job everybody. See you next time. Bye.